On October 12, 1972, a small chartered aircraft took off from Uruguay, South America. This aircraft, carrying 45 passengers, including a rugby team and their family members, was en route to Santiago, Chile. The flight was supposed to be short, lasting only 3 hours. However, the Andes Mountains, one of the most formidable mountain ranges in the world, stood in their path. That day, a storm loomed over the Andes, making flying conditions dangerous. The pilots, prioritizing safety, decided to land in Mendoza, Argentina for the night, and continue their journey the next day. On October 13th at 2:18 p.m., the aircraft took off again. Initially, the flight was smooth, but at 3:21 p.m., as the plane neared Santiago, turbulence shook the aircraft violently. Thick clouds surrounded them, limiting visibility. Suddenly, warning alarms blared, an ominous sign that disaster was imminent. As the plane emerged from the clouds, the pilots saw a massive mountain directly in their path. Desperately, they attempted to gain altitude, but it was too late. The rear of the aircraft struck the mountain, tearing off part of the fuselage and ejecting several passengers into the void. The aircraft continued for a few more moments before another collision sheared off a wing. The remaining front portion plunged into a glacier, sliding at an alarming speed of 350 kilometers per hour before coming to a devastating halt at 3,570 meters above sea level. Of the 45 people on board, 33 miraculously survived the crash. However, their ordeal was far from over. Many were seriously injured, and no one knew their location. The plane had crashed 80 kilometers off its planned route, making rescue efforts nearly impossible. Within an hour of the crash, Chilean authorities initiated search efforts. Multiple aircraft scoured the Andes, but the white fuselage blended seamlessly with the snow, rendering it nearly invisible. As night fell, the survivors, unaware that their plane was undetectable, clung to hope that rescue would arrive by morning. Unfortunately, 5 of them succumbed to their injuries overnight, reducing their number to 28. Using whatever resources they could salvage, they fashioned a shelter from the plane's wreckage, blocking the rear with luggage and snow for insulation. The next day, rescue teams intensified their search, deploying 11 aircraft from Argentina, Chile, and Uruguay. While they were searching in the right area, they failed to spot the wreckage. The survivors attempted to signal passing planes with lipstick messages and makeshift symbols in the snow, but their efforts went unnoticed. As days passed, hunger and dehydration became dire threats. One survivor, Fito Strauch, devised a method to melt snow using a metal sheet, providing a vital water source. But food was running out. Their meager rations, including a handful of chocolates, dates, and wine, were nearly depleted. They rationed as much as possible, but after 11 days they faced a grim reality. There was nothing left to eat. Faced with starvation, they made an agonizing decision: to consume the flesh of their deceased friends. It was a moral and emotional battle, but survival instincts prevailed. On October 29th, a catastrophic avalanche buried their shelter, suffocating 8 more survivors. Only 19 remained. In the days that followed, they realized that no one was coming to rescue them. Their only chance was to save themselves. On November 15th, 33 days after the crash, 3 of the strongest survivors, Parado, Canessa, and Vizintin, set out to find help. Along the way, they stumbled upon the rear section of the plane, discovering valuable supplies including food, clothing, and a radio. Although they managed to power the radio, they could only receive transmissions, not send distress signals. Realizing they had no other option, they resumed their journey on December 11th. Unbeknownst to them, they were still 89 kilometers away from civilization. The trek was grueling, through treacherous terrain and bone-chilling temperatures. After 9 days, they finally spotted a river, a sign of lower altitudes and potential human settlement. On December 20th, after 72 days in the mountains, they encountered a Chilean farmer. They desperately signaled to him, and their cries for help were answered. Soon, a rescue operation was launched. On December 22nd, helicopters arrived at the crash site, evacuating the remaining 14 survivors. Against all odds, 16 people had survived one of the most harrowing ordeals in aviation history. This story, later known as the Miracle of the Andes, is a testament to human resilience, determination, and the will to survive.